The Atlanta Braves will take on the Boston Red Sox for 3 in Fenway Park starting tonight. Here's your 10-minute scouting report for the series opener. Yes, this is your Braves Today scouting report, a production of the Believe Podcast Network and presented to you by FanDuel. I'm Lindsey Crosby, and in the next 10 minutes, we're breaking down everything you need to know before first pitch. Today, it's the Braves and the Red Sox in the series opener, so let's get into it. Both teams have put out their lineups for the game. For the Atlanta Braves, Ronald Acuna Jr. leading off in right field, followed by the somewhat lefty-optimized lineup. Mauricio Dubon in left field, batting second. Matt Olson at first base, batting third. Ozzie Albies is the cleanup hitter at second base, followed by Austin Riley at third base. Designated hitter Eli White batting sixth. Center fielder Michael Harris the second, batting seventh. Shortstop Ha-Seong Kim batting eighth. And catcher Sandy Leone batting ninth. First time they've used Eli White at DH all year. There's a lefty on the opposing mound, so they're not going to go with Dom Smith. Part of me wonders, would it have been a good game to give a position player who is normally on the field every single day a half day, right? An Ozzie Albies, an Austin Riley, put Ronald in there again. Just somebody who plays a lot that could use a half day by being at DH versus just sticking your fourth outfielder in Eli White at DH. But that is what the Braves did. Your starting pitcher for the Atlanta Braves is Spencer Strider. He's 2-0 with an ERA of an even 3. And the ERA estimators are kind of everywhere on this. 2.66 expected ERA, 4.69 FIP. So a little bit of a surprise on the spread on that. I think some of what that tells us is, one, he was having the walk issues that came up in Colorado are still impacting the FIP, as well as the quality of the contact is being captured by expected ERA, and it's likely better, and FIP just doesn't know that, and that's why there's a spread between the two. He has a 32.9% strikeout rate, which is very Spencer-esque. He has a 14.6% walk rate, which is not very Spencer-esque, but again, is a big carryover from that first start of the season that he made there in Colorado. There's nobody on Boston's roster with more than 4 at-bats against Spencer Strider. They are a combined 6 for 26 off of him. They do have 2 RBI. Both of those come from Wilson Contreras. Nobody, knock on wood, on this Boston roster has taken Spencer Strider deep. When you look at the opposing lineup, left fielder Jarren Duran leading off. He's a lefty hitter, followed by center fielder Ceddanne Rafaela. In case you forgot from last time we played them, his middle name is Chipper. He grew up a Braves fan in Curacao and is the most prominent player from Curacao in the majors right now that has not yet played for the Braves. So hopefully we can make that happen. We've collected the Curacao Infinity Stones for about everybody else. Right fielder Wilyer Abreu batting third. Wilson Contreras, the brother of former Brave William Contreras, at first base batting cleanup. He's been a very good defensive first baseman. We're still going to see 2 fantastic defensive first basemen in this series between Matt Olson and Wilson Contreras. The DH is Matsutaka Yoshida batting 5th. Catcher is Mickey Gasper, a switch hitter batting 6th, followed by second baseman Nick Sogard. Sogard is at second base because batting 8th is Marcelo Meyer, who has been playing a lot of second base this year in deference to Trevor Story, but has officially moved over to shortstop now that Story is on the IL and is going to miss quite a bit of time. The final spot in the order goes to veteran utility man Isaiah Kiner-Falefa at third base. It had been Caleb Durbin. Caleb Durbin has not been hitting at all this year, so they're going with Kiner-Falefa at third. Again, Duran, Rafaela, Abreu, Contreras, Yoshida, Gasper, Sogard, Meyer, and Kiner-Falefa. Starting for the Boston Red Sox, his old friend Ranger Suarez, 2-2 with a 2.40 ERA. The estimators, 3.20 expected ERA and a 2.97 FIP. So he's had a little bit of better performance than what the inputs have said. 22.9% strikeout rate. He's never been a massive strikeout guy. That's kind of close to average. But 7.4% walk rate is well above average right now, as far as he's doing good at that. And when you look at what he does, he doesn't have a lot of velocity, which is why I was concerned in the offseason about the Braves fans who wanted to sign him to a long-term deal. He's averaging 91.1 on his fastball now. The average fastball velocity in the league keeps climbing, so that's already one of the lowest in baseball. It was just going to continue getting lower and lower below the average. But right now, it's a fastball dominant profile that's working very well for him. 30% sinker usage, 19% cutter, 18% four-seamer, 18% change. He doesn't spin the ball that well. So 15% curveball, 1% slider. But good pitcher so far this year for the Boston Red Sox. Against lefties, what he's doing here, he's throwing a lot of fastballs early in the count, right? Sinker almost half the time. His four-seamer usage is highest early in the at-bat, another 27 or so percent. And that comes at the expense of the curveball. When he gets behind, everything gets minimized for the sinker. He's not thrown a single changeup when behind in the count to a lefty yet, because he focuses on that sinker. I'm behind in the count. Let me either get strikes or get a ground ball and get out of it. And he's been pretty decent at getting ground balls this year. It's right, 45% is right around average overall, but for a starter, it's a little bit better than average. When he's ahead in the count, that's when he ramps up that curveball usage as well as the changeup. And when he gets to two strikes, is curveball, changeup, slider. He doesn't throw a lot of fastballs in that situation for him, relatively speaking. When you look at the right-handed arsenal, it is simpler. He's barely using the slider at all. He only throws it when he's ahead in the count, and he only throws it to lefties. So he's not throwing any sliders to righties. It's a simpler mix, but it is better sequenced, right? The lefty mix is sinker heavy. This is 24% sinker, 24% cutter, 20% changeup, 18% four-seamer. It's a lot better sequenced here. Things to know here, he ramps up changeup use when he's ahead. He gets to 33% changeup use when he's ahead in the count. When he gets to two strikes, it's 25% changeup use and 21% curveballs. So that's when he's going and throwing those breaking balls, which, again, don't rate out well and not a big part of his game. He's just not a dude that spins the ball really well. When he's behind, as can be expected, he cuts back on those two pitches to throw more sinkers. That's all kind of a standard sequencing thing. Nothing unusual about his sequencing. When you look at his ability to throw a first pitch strike to lefties, he is very, very good at throwing a first pitch strike, to the point where it's easily going to be something that Braves pitchers are going, or Braves hitters are going to be able to watch for. The odds are you will get a first pitch in the zone because he's also not getting a lot of whiff and chase. Righties, it's much more in the air whether or not you're going to get a first pitch strike or a first pitch ball. And again, if you get a first pitch ball and you are ahead in the count, you're going to see a lot more sinkers. So there is a path here towards not getting behind in the count if you can get that first pitch ball, being a little disciplined right there. When you look at the bullpen status for both teams, this is really interesting. This is something where virtually everybody's available for the Braves, right? Ronaldo Lopez threw 35 pitches on Sunday. That's that weird area where maybe they give him a day off, like one more day. He obviously had Monday off. Maybe they give him a second day. We don't actually know. But outside of that, everybody else should be available. Didier Fuentes threw 5 pitches on Sunday. He can come back. Carlos Carrasco threw 12 on Sunday. He can come back. Your leverage arms have all been off since Friday. So well rested. Everybody should be able to pitch today, maybe with the exception of Ronaldo Lopez. 35 is just that weird little range there. When you look at the Boston bullpen, Aroldis Chapman, their best leverage reliever, he hasn't pitched since last Wednesday. So he's absolutely fresh and rested, and I'm sure you'll see him at least once. They may get him into the game, even if it's not a safe situation tonight, just to get him some work. They did use 6 relievers on Sunday. 2 of those guys were on a back-to-back. I imagine most of these pitchers can come back after an off day on Monday. Ryan Watson and Giovanni Moran are the 2 questions. Ryan Watson threw 40 pitches combined between Saturday and Sunday. With 1 day off, he's probably in the scenario where you want to give him 1 more day. Giovanni Moran threw 29. He's also one of the other lefties in this pen outside of Chapman. So you probably want to bring him back, given that he's had 1 day off since the back-to-back. Kind of final thoughts on this one here. Atlanta's lineup has a lot of mixed results against Ranger Suarez. Ozzie Albies, 321 average, 3 homers, a bunch of RBI. He's done really well. Austin Riley, 346, and that's like 26 or more at-bats. He's done really well. Dom Smith's like 3 for 10 with 2 RBI. Ronald Acuna is hitting 227 off of Suarez and 22 at-bats. Matt Olson's hitting 250 and 28 at-bats. Michael Harris is hitting 150 in 20 at-bats. So it's a lot of you were really good or you really kind of struggled. So I'm curious to see what happens there. This Boston offense has gotten a lot of hits, but hasn't been great at converting those into runs. This Braves offense has not been good at scoring runs or getting hits in the last couple games. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen there. But that's your Braves Today scouting report. If you want the deeper analysis, the lineup breakdowns, and everything behind the numbers, make sure you're subscribed to Braves Today. Enjoy the game. We'll be back after it with the postcast over on Locked On Sports Atlanta. And today's 3 things are game recap over at bravestoday.com.